Oh, and we're live.
Oh, okay, now I can't see us.
Okay. Well, I can see everyone, so that's good. I can't see the Facebook comments, but I can see everyone. Hello, everyone. We're back again for our normal weekly live. This time, Kaya's still in the Blue Mountains in Australia. And today, I am in Ireland. Rural Ireland, in the middle of nowhere pretty much. It's cool I have internet here, so.
Beautiful, magical mountains and green hills behind her.
It is really magical here. It's really, really beautiful. I like Ireland. It's my favourite place so far. So today we thought we would talk about the importance of parenting or making your parenting choices and decisions and interacting with your children from a place of your values and not the mind chatter, the expectations, the shoulds, the fears, the doubts. That's basically what we want to talk about, isn't it, Kaya?
Yeah, reconnecting with your core parenting values as a continual beginning set point. Because when we're not, we can get really lost in all the fears, the shoulds about not only about like how our children are doing and how well they're gonna grow up to be a successful person and all that, but also all the worry about how other people view us and all the judgment of everybody else and just all the pressure of society. We get so lost in it. And it's
so easy to get lost in that. Even our own expectations of what we want for our children, they can be really distracting, and they can lead us to a place where we act in relationship with our children in a way that actually it doesn't feel good. It feels crappy. And the antidote to that is to come back to your values. And so I had a story about that yesterday, which is why this topic came up. Yesterday, we drove basically across the entire width, the bottom half of Ireland. And it was a pretty much a full day drive. And I caught myself getting really grumpy and shitty a couple hours into it. Every time I looked back at the kids in the back, they were like not looking out the window. They were on their iPads, or they had headphones on, or they were like, not paying attention to the fact that we were in Ireland and that we were in this amazing landscape. And I noticed myself becoming that grumpy, shitty, irritated parent. And I caught my thoughts going, these children don't appreciate where they are and what's going on. And they're so ungrateful. And like, they're not even making the most of this experience, blah, 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 blah. And I could have kept down that path. I could have harped on them. I could have taken away their technology and had them all looking out the window, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
You have to look out the window and enjoy yourself.
I know. And instead, I took a breath and I reconnected with what my most important values were, my values for how I wanted to show up with my children, and also my values or my intentions for this trip that we're on. And a big one of those was creating really strong connection moments and rich experiences for our family, developing our family's strength of familyness, but love and joy and that sort of thing. And so for me to get all naggy and take away their technology and start pretty much a mini war in the car would not have served anyone. And so instead, I did come back to my values, and I remembered how I wanted to show up with my children, how I wanted to be in relationship, and I let it all go. But interestingly, just a couple minutes after that,
just so you know.
Oh, you can? Okay. Interestingly, a couple minutes later of sitting with my values and feeling into them, I felt so much better. And from that space, I was able to bring this to my children and say, hey, guys, this is pretty amazing what you're missing and blah, blah, blah. And it actually ended up requiring a pit stop and boosting my son up on some extra pillows and stuff, because he actually couldn't see very clearly out the back. And we did it in a really teamwork approach. There was no fight or struggle around it. And he actually spent the next several hours looking out the window as we drove across Ireland while listening to Celtic music on his iPad. So, so in the end, the values were the thing that allowed us to stay in connection and create a really lovely moment. And there's so many stories of that. You don't have to be driving across Ireland to have an experience of how could I move forwards from my values rather than my fears or my judgments or my critical mind. Do you want to add something, Kaya? Just had a bit of a...
Oh, first I just want to let you know there's some comments.
Oh, cool, because I can't see them.
Because we're on Zoom, so we can both be here. We haven't quite worked out how to see Facebook and Zoom at the same time. We will get it before Lisa arrives back. We're in the same place. So Kate's here. She says, you both look beautiful. So good to see you. So good to see you, Kate. And your message was heartwarmingly gorgeous. Thank you.
It was. Thank you.
And Joshua, hi, a man. That's nice. Hi. Love creating connections for the family.
Yeah.
And Xavier says, cute hat.
It's my Irish hat and my Irish scarf. Yeah. We're actually at the moment, just in case you guys are interested, we're in the Ring of Kerry at the moment. We're in County Kerry in a cute little, well, we're in a semi-rural area, but the nearest town to us is Colorgan, which is really cute. They have an annual festival that's the oldest in Ireland, and it's apparently really popular. This tiny little town has this massive influx of 100,000 people for this festival. It's a weird festival. They go and capture a wild goat from the hills behind me here. Briefly, they capture the goat and they put it on a pedestal and they crown it King Puck for the day. It's called the Puck Festival. And then for 3 days, they celebrate the goat. It's kind of odd. There's a lot of history behind it. Some people say it had pagan roots. Some people say the story is a herd of wild goats ran through the town, stampeded through the town back in history and alerted the town that the soldiers were coming, the English were coming, and allowed them to flee. So there's all sorts of different stories as to why they celebrate the wild goat, but they do. And the town is, so it's Colorgan, but the town often gets just called Puck. So there you go. So I guess the practice, let's give you something to take out of this live that we're on right now. So we were talking about connecting to your values over your critical, judgmental mind. And I'll tell you what, it is so much easier to sit with a value and move from that place in your decision-making process than it is to go round and round on the hamster wheel in your mind. That is a crazy, difficult space to parent from. So it's the hardest place to do it from. So instead, come back to your values. So what I would like to invite you all to do is to brainstorm your values. And I would suggest that you brainstorm like 20 values, like really go over and beyond. You'll probably find that you operate from 2 or 3 on a daily basis, but I encourage you to brainstorm 20 or so. And then pick your top 3. Pick your top 3 for the moment. Just don't get caught up on perfection, like, oh, which one's my most important value? Just grab 3 that resonate at the moment and hold those in your awareness. And then throughout the day, just move from anytime you take action, make a choice, interact with your children, do it from one of those values. And see what happens. Watch how much simpler and easier and connective it is to parent from your heart space and from your truth as opposed to the confusion that exists in the mind. That is the practice.
And your values are something that feels really true. Like and I guess even just the word values, we know that. Like it's not something that is a should. It's not something that is fear-based. Your values are something that when you connect with it, like for example, like the value of connection, the value of unconditional love, whatever it is for you. And you can't, like, it can sometimes get a little bit more specific than that. Like, often I find when I narrow it down, it does get to like one of those words that are like used a lot and can be pretty broad, but it can also be something a little bit more specific. But either way, it doesn't matter. What matters is that your meaning for that word is really felt for you. It's like, this is so important. This is underneath anything and any ideology, any book, anything around parenting that I learned. This is what's important. This is what I'm coming back to. So you're coming to those things.
Absolutely. Yep, definitely. And that's why brainstorm wide, because it's really easy to make this sort of list of values that don't touch you, but that you know are your values, but you've said them so many times that they don't really ignite the yes in your body as much as they could, because you've almost stereotype them a little bit, you know, like the unconditional love and the connection. Connection is still my top value, but if I don't really feel into that, it can just be a word, and then that misses the point. Yeah. But there are lots of values. We should brainstorm some now. So for the people here,
Moon live.
Oh yes, we will. We have a full moon live in a second in one of our groups, so we'll have to be quick. But let's just quickly, for everyone who's here, brainstorm some values. Just write them down in the comments, whatever it is. Integrity, freedom, connection,
self-responsibility.
Some people have values around excitement. What else? Venture. Like there's.
Yeah. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. I was waiting for someone to share some values. I can't see the comments, but for you to talk.
Whichever ones are most important to you. No one has shared anything yet. Oh, Joshua says care, freedom, love, passion, and growth.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So if your list looks like something like that, pick just one of them and play with it for a day. Today is the day of passion. Yeah. And see what happens if you approach every decision, as you know, as mothers, as parents, because we have a guy here today, as parents, you're constantly making decisions and being action orientated moment to moment all the time. Like they're coming at you fast and thick. What if you picked a value and you just saw what happened in that day? If you moved always from that value first. And that is the invitation that we're making here. And it's really powerful to actually do this and see what happens. It's easy for us to sit here and talk about it. Promise you it will be a powerful experience. It will shift the way you show up, for sure.
Yes. And Xavier says being present. That's an incredibly important one. And Catherine, Kate, I'm so used to calling you Kate, says worthiness, comfort, safety, unconditional love, presence, and connection.
Beautiful.
More laughter.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. Okay, so there's your invitation today. This is your invitation from Ireland this week. Next week, about this time, where will I be? I'm either going to be in Dublin or I'm going to be in Scotland. I can't quite remember which, but I'll be coming at you from somewhere over here. And Kaya, as always, will be the steady anchor that she is in the mountains, holding everything up. Mwah. So much.
All over the place myself lately, but I am back home.
No, I heard you had a snowstorm. That's pretty cool.
Yes, totally. Anyway, we stuck the live right before another call we have to be on again, so that we'd make it short. It works well. So we need to leave and get into the Mother Rising group.
Okay, so much love to you all. Mwah, and we'll talk to you next week. Bye.
See you.